I'm the Drawing DM, and welcome to today's art fight video. In the last video, I focused my attacks on Team Comedy's D&D OCs, and the art turned out great. Today I'm focusing my attacks on some mysterious and ferocious monster OCs that each team has to offer. And spoiler alert, this has got to be the strongest showing of my art that I have so far. I'm starting off this one with my favorite art piece. This is the Doomsday Knight created by Polka of Dots on Team Comedy. The Doomsday Knight is the main god of their D&D campaign called Moonstruck. It is the very personification of murder and the act of killing other creatures. His queen gave birth to 4 offspring, each one representing her message to the world, which was kill, consume, multiply, and conquer. The Doomsday Knight maintains balance with the god of multiplication and creation, King Crescent. This was the last drawing that I did originally when I started working on all 3 art pieces. And my ultimate goal with all 3 was to work on digital painting techniques and lineless art. Out of all the drawings I did, I believe this one was the one that took me the longest. I began this one with a sketch of the Doomsday Knight before realizing that the whole point of this was to practice painting, and then I quickly moved and shifted gears and attempted a very loose painterly sketch. I bounced between a few ideas. The 2 I liked were Slain Dragon, and ultimately the one that I ended up with was having him in a kneeling position, getting ready to hunt his prey. I knew I wanted to incorporate fire in the painting in some manner, and then as I got towards the end of the painting, I realized that I could make the background really dark so that I could guide the viewer's eyes towards the foreground and put the flame there and ultimately guide your eye to the Doomsday Knight dead center. Now, let's check out how this one turned out. Next up is an OC without a name, but just goes by Shadow Monster. In the Tortuga University Research Lab, the party faced a shadow monster that inexplicably appeared and destroyed the lab, almost killing the party had the god Sarket not intervened and defeated the creature. Or at least, that's what they believe. This monster OC was created by Lady of the Well. Honestly, I really like the idea of a shadow monster. I thought this could be something kind of fun that I could play with since it doesn't really have a lot of form, like it doesn't have a set form to work with. So I decided to give it some tentacles and placed it as a monster within a dungeon, which is being illuminated by a torchlight. I really enjoyed painting the background for this one more than I did with the actual character, and it's because I was more or less limited with the color palette for the character. I don't think it looks all that bad, but it's definitely not in my top 2 for today's video. If I had to redo this painting, I would probably add another person's adventurer to the mix, so I could put them in the room where the shadow monster could be coming out from their shadow, or somehow interacting with something that has actual color to it. Alright, not much else to say about this one, so let's see the finished results. Alright, now, for the last one, this was actually the first drawing that I worked on. I had a few ideas about what the background should look like and how the dragon could be interacting with Granite Stoneheart, one of my D&D OCs. As you can see, I had to go through so many different ideas before things began to sink in for me. The problem is shifting my mindset from illustrative line art to a more painterly approach. When I illustrate, I feel like I have to have enough control over what the piece looks like as a whole before I ever go into coloring. When it comes to painting, I have to have a huge, vague idea and then just kind of build on top of it. Now, to be honest, I'm 100% grateful that I didn't give up on this one, because by the time I got to painting the actual dragon, I felt like things finally clicked for me, which made the other drawings you saw possible. Speaking of the dragon, this is a rockhead dragon, which was created by Rad Rado. The rockhead species of dragons are wyverns, which are roughly 12 feet tall, 20 feet in length, and have a wingspan of 40 feet. They are a mix of cold and poisonous draconic attributes. Rockheads are less popular choices for dragoneers, as their bitter cold attitude is often a deterrent despite how beautifully they are. It wraps itself around trees or hides in the snow before striking prey down with a sting to the jugular. The venom acts like liquid nitrogen, freezing the blood so the body becomes all solid before the rockhead swallows the prey whole. With strong stomach acid, it is strong enough to break down antlers and bones of its prey. I think the shading and the textures I painted for the rockhead and the rocky cliffs or mountains in the background are two of my favorite areas I rendered between all three paintings. Now, it's time to take a final look at the Rockhead Dragon. Well, there you have it. 3 awesome D&D monster OCs from each of this year's ArtFight teams. I think overall these turned out great. Paintings take a lot longer for me, but honestly I had a lot of fun with these ArtFight designs. Now, don't forget to tune in for my next ArtFight video where I'll be targeting D&D OCs from each ArtFight team to build the ultimate adventuring party. That's right, you heard it, adventuring party. If you enjoy D&D, fantasy art, character designs, and world building, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss future videos. This has been The Drawing DM. Until next time, keep creating your own legend.